All right, everybody, welcome back to Stories from a Mountain Town. It is just Tyler today. Gonna do a solo episode as I didn't want anybody to um, come into my house and potentially risk getting sick, or me going to their place and potentially risk them getting sick. So I just wanted to do a little um, Jackson Hole coronavirus COVID-19 update on the status of our businesses, on some activities that I've been doing to stay busy during this time because we can't hang out with people as much. Um, so yeah, no beer today, but thanks as always to Snake River Brewing. You already heard an ad, a read through from me on the situation with them. But if you're in town here, go get a 6-pack from them. Go get a to go order. They're still doing food specials. Their food is still just as good as always. Their beer is just as good as always. I've been getting into that a little bit too. But yeah, go check them out. So first and foremost, probably the biggest news out of this whole thing is the ski resorts all closed. And you might have heard in a past episode that they were thinking about it or they were doing it. I can't remember the timeline. But yeah, Jackson Hole Mountain Resort is closed. Grand Targhee is closed. And Snow King is also closed for the rest of the season. And I'm pretty sure every ski resort in North America and Europe and maybe the rest of the world are closed right now. Not really sure about other places. So that was a big blow, but it was definitely necessary because there's a lot of close quarters in the tram and the gondola and the restaurants there and the bathrooms and everything. So that was definitely a good move, and I'm sure they were hesitant to do that because that's a lot of people's livelihood. There's a lot of joy and fun that gets had there, and that's kind of the center of the town, not physically, but the center of the energy and everything in the winter here, especially on snowy days. Almost all the restaurants are in a to-go operation only, to-go orders only. We've been eating out more than normal. Taylor and I have to try to support them in their time of need. We've been trying to, buy gift cards when we can and do whatever we can to help the small businesses out around here. So if you have that situation and you can eat out a little bit more than you normally would, please do that. They really need some help right now. Moving on to the next point, they really need some help because there's almost no tourists here in town. It's super quiet. It's like a ghost town, even in the middle of the day or like on a Friday night or Saturday night when downtown would be really busy, people walking around, shopping, going to the restaurants, going to the bars, all that stuff. It's very quiet. It's nice in a sense that it's quiet for the time being, but not for the reason that it's quiet. We want the people here supporting the businesses. We love our small businesses. And the tourism, the 3 million tourists that come here every single year are kind of the whole reason the town is here. There probably wouldn't be the town of Jackson as we know it without that. So, yeah, that's been really quiet. Now I just want to move into some of the activities that I've been doing to keep myself busy. And most of these are in and around my house. Some of them are outside, but even then it's only Taylor and I and the dogs, or just me and the dogs. I haven't really been inviting other people, just trying to stay separate, stay social distance. There's a tag word for the day. I've been doing a bunch of backcountry skiing or backcountry splitboarding because since the ski resorts are closed, there's nowhere else to do that, and there's still a ton of snow. It's actually snowing really hard right now here, so that should be, maybe I'll go out later this afternoon. You still need to, if you're going to do backcountry skiing, you still need to keep your distance from people that you don't know, you haven't been in contact with, because you can still be transferred out there, even if you're out in the parking lot or on the skin track or on the boot pack or wherever you are. So keep your 6 feet, whatever number they're saying these days, keep your distance. And please keep checking the AVRI reports. It's been pretty good lately because it's starting to get into spring, so the snowpack is really, really solidified. We're not getting total huge dumps where it would form like another layer that would be unstable. So it's been pretty good lately, but please check it every single day. I check it basically every single day, even when I'm not going out in the backcountry, just so I know the kind of the flowing status of the snowpack, to know, if a couple days ago it was really bad, and so I should be on the lookout, even if the green light on a certain day to go out, that a couple days ago is bad. So that's a good thing to know. know where you're going. It's so important to have a complete plan of your route and like what you're going to ride down, where you're going to climb up, how you're going to get out of there, that whole thing. Because if you just kind of go out and wandering around, you can get into some trouble very easily. And probably before any of all that stuff, you should make sure you have the right equipment. Make sure you have a beacon, shovel, a probe, and some education on Abbey rescues and all that good stuff. There are a lot more people here going out, and probably in every mountain area, going to the backcountry, and maybe some of them shouldn't be because they don't have the right experience or the right knowledge or the right equipment. So everyone be careful. If you are out there and have the experience and the equipment, be ready to help others. I've already had to help me and Jeff and Cove. We were out doing a ride the other day, and we came across this girl that had gotten lost out there. It seemed like she had some a rental setup, which is really cool, getting people out in the sport. It's great. I don't think she had the right equipment. She didn't know where she was going, or she had some really bad friends, and we're not quite sure what was happening. But she was pretty exhausted, thirsty, scared. So we got her some water, helped her out, got her out of there, and then helped her get back to her car. So if you are one of the more experienced people in the backcountry, be ready to help people. Be looking out for people that need help, because there are a lot more people in the backcountry than ever before that may not know what they're doing. So keep an eye on that. The next thing on my list of quarantine activities are reading. I've been reading a ton of books lately. I've been trying to do at least one book a month, depending on how busy I am with work and other things. But I just finished a book called Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek. It's all about how to be a better leader organizationally, in a business, in the military, whatever it is, just any type of leader, based on like the biological chemical reaction that we as humans have to leadership and to being in organizations. Because, the chemicals that our brain secretes, there's four main ones. That's, I'm not going to name them because I can't think of them right now, but there's four main ones, and they're secreted in different situations of stress or joy or exercise or, like food, like dopamine, stuff like that. And those all get secreted in certain organizational settings and leadership settings and business settings. So if you know how that's going to work and how people react to those chemicals, you can be a better leader by giving them what they really need to succeed. And that is normally not just money. From this book, it's really just a sense of security that you're not going to fire them at the first sign of making the bottom line better or something like that. So if you're looking to be, if you're trying to get into management in work, or just want to learn how to be a better leader in life, definitely check out Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek. It's a great read, kind of short chapters. So I felt like I could just, read a quick chapter and move on to something else, and then come back to another chapter later in the day or something like that, because I'm always moving around with my ADD brain. And something that I've been doing lately. So we have a local bookstore here right in town. I'm not even sure it's Valley Bookstore, maybe, I think is what it's called. But I called them up before this all got crazy and said, like, hey, if I want to order some books, can I just come to you instead of going to Amazon? I mean, Amazon's great. Don't get me wrong. That like next day shipping is outstanding. But especially right now, we want to be supporting, like I've said, support your local businesses. Most bookstores, if you have a little local bookstore near you, they will order the books from wherever they get their book distribution from. They can order it from you, and it'll be their normal price. And they get that money, they get the revenue, they get the credits with their account, so they know that distributor will be able to give them bigger orders, bigger discounts in the future, and they can still pay their rent or their commercial loans or their employees, their payroll, all that stuff. So you can try to buy from a local bookstore. If not, Kindles. A lot of people have Kindles, and that you can order any book that's on the Amazon bookstore, I would imagine, without having to go anywhere. And that's a very, very safe and clean way to get the books you want. Get any book you want in this time where we shouldn't really be going anywhere. If you're not a big reader, audiobooks are awesome too. You can find just about any audiobook you can think of on there's a bunch of audiobook apps, which I don't really use, but even just on YouTube, like for free, you can just search like so-and-so book, audiobook on YouTube, and you probably find a good recording of one. So that's a really good way to consume the content still. But if you're not big into sitting and reading, like I know some people are, that you can still get that content. And then kind of in that same frame of mind, our podcasts have been really, really big for me. I always listen to podcasts anyways when I'm working, but right now they've been a great thing to stay away from. You can kind of stay away from the more emotional TV news, and you can get some better, maybe more factual information that they're not so emotional. They're not trying to get ratings. They're just trying to like tell you what's going on. And I'm a big Joe Rogan listener. Joe had a guy by the name of Michael Osterholm on his podcast like last week, I think. He's some sort of doctor related to viruses and diseases from the University of Minnesota. And he's kind of the point man on a lot of these pandemics or outbreaks or whatever you want to call them throughout the years. And he had a really, really good perspective on like what we should be doing, how we can help each other and ourselves, and then like where this could go, like the worst case scenario, the best case scenario, and how do we get to the best case scenario. So that's a great one if you're looking for some very super factual, legit information on the situation. You don't want to be scared into thinking it's the end of the world. This guy, Michael Osterholm, is amazing. I'm sure he's on other stuff too, but that's just how I found him on the Joe Rogan Experience. Another podcast that I listen to regularly is Gary Vaynerchuk's podcast, and I'm going to actually pull up the name because I can't remember what it's exactly called right now, but it's all about like marketing and business and entrepreneurship, stuff like that. If you're the Gary V Audio Experience is what it's called. It's on the podcast app. If you're in these times of quarantine, starting a little hobby business, or you have a little hobby business or something like that, listen to his stuff. He talks about everything from like the macro ideas of like being patient in the long term and being happy with what you're doing in your life. And also there's some episodes he gets down to the actual tactics of like, okay, do this exactly and post this to Instagram and you'll do this and you'll grow your business. And here's how you grow, here's how you grow a boutique fashion business. Here's how you grow a furniture company. Here's how you grow a marketing company. He talks so much, and he's recorded, pretty much every moment of his workday is recorded. So he gets so much time because he's talking about the macro of being psychologically happier and loving your life and not just doing things for money, and also like, okay, here's the tactics, here's exactly what you need to do to grow your business. So the Gary V Audio Experience, that's a great one that I check in on when I'm looking for like, oh, how do I work out this problem in business, in my marketing business or my day-to-day job? How do I work it out? I'll usually find it on Gary V. The next podcast I listen to all the time is my friend Adam Lovick's podcast. It's called The Traveler. Adam is he's like kind of the head of marketing or marketing manager type role at a company called Travel Leaders, and they're a travel agency. I believe they're based in Minnesota, but I think they have offices kind of around the whole country. And he brings in travel experts, whether it's people at his company that have been doing in the business for years, or people from different cruise lines or different hotel groups or different travel groups around the world to help talk about their trip or whatever company they're supporting. And if you're looking for travel inspiration because you're going a little stir crazy in your house, this would be a great one to look through the episodes and be like, oh, I didn't realize you could do a train tour of the Canadian Rockies or something. He's an episode on that. Or I didn't know you could do this whole tour of Ireland. Here's a great episode on this company in Ireland that will take you around and show you all the stuff in the Irish countryside. So that's another great one. Adam's a longtime friend of mine. We've known each other since I don't know, like fourth grade or something. So he's doing a great job there. And actually, this microphone, as you've heard me say before, came from him. So thanks, Adam. And lastly, of course, this one. This is a podcast, Stories from a Mountain Town. Some of the episodes you might like in this time are my episode with Megan Murtaugh. She is a really awesome chick here. She's doing, actually right now, she put together, I don't know if it's a website or an organization for people to donate so that that organization can give money and food and resources to the people here that are still working, the medical field, the medical field workers, get stuff to the restaurants so they can stay open. She's doing a great job. She's been super busy in this time. So great job, Meg. So go check her out. Go check that episode out. And then any other episodes. If you like talking about mountain stuff, talking about skiing, snowboarding, kind of anything, you can find an episode, and hopefully my descriptions do it justice so you can figure out the right one for you. And thank you all for listening. If you're listening to this or any other ones, thanks again. It's been so much fun. Something else that I try to do every single day, for even outside of this, just to keep my body right and keep my sanity and things. I do a lot of yoga. I kind of have figured out my little problem spots from sitting in desks and doing what I do and being tall and lanky like I am. So I have a little 10-minute little flow style session that I do pretty much at least once a day, that I know, but I've learned that all from the main YouTube account that I learned it from is called Yoga with Adriene. She's been doing this for 5 years. She's a certified yoga teacher, so you can actually go to her classes if you live near her. I don't really know where she lives, but she has all these videos on YouTube ranging from short ones, 10-minute long, little specific need practices, all the way up to an hour long, deep, meditative kind of stuff. And you can pick whichever one you want. And you can even go in there and search, go into her page, go into her channel and say sore backs, or sore shoulders, or neck tension, or legs, or tight legs, or whatever it is. Search the body part you're having tension in, and she'll have a video that focuses on it. Or if it's not specifically naming it, it'll be tagged in there of what it focuses on. So it's been perfect when you're she has ones for traveling a lot. If you've been traveling in a plane, there's certain tension points for that. There's even ones where she does more meditative ones, where if you're just looking to chill out and just breathe and stuff like that. So those are all great. She's great. Go check her out. Yoga with Adriene on YouTube. She's awesome. And this is probably the least productive of all the tips I'm going to give you. Watch a new show. Netflix is coming out. Netflix and all the other platforms are coming out with new stuff all the time. And I'm sure you've heard of this one. Taylor and I just finished Tiger King. It is this insane documentary style story about a guy in Oklahoma, mostly about the one in Oklahoma, who has a private zoo where he has something like 200 tigers in his private ownership, and people come in and pay to see them and pet them and hang out with the cubs. And it kind of focuses on three main people that all have these tiger and lion private zoos, and they all do it a different way. And literally, they're all weirder. They're all just super, super weird people. And I don't mean that as necessarily a mean thing, but they just are freaking weird. And once you watch the documentary, you'll get it. It's got everything from financial crimes, lawsuits, murder, tigers, lions, gay rednecks. This show is insane. And every single episode outdoes the last one and gets crazier and crazier. It's the last few episodes, Taylor and I are watching it. And every 5 minutes, I was saying, holy shit, Taylor, this is insane. Holy shit, Taylor, this is insane. Over and over again, because it keeps upping itself and getting more and more crazy until the end. And then it's just whoa, what did we just watch? And it's all real. This is 100% real, this whole thing. So go check that out. The next one it's called Mountain. It's on Netflix. It's a documentary about mountains. It takes sayings from that book, Mountains of the Mind, read by Willem Dafoe. He's a famous actor, if you've heard of him. And it just has this really great cinematography of mountains, talking about the mountains of your mind. And it's a really kind of a thought-provoking type documentary with some beautiful, beautiful scenery of the mountains, which, of course, I love. So that's a great one. And then any Yellowstone documentary. I will watch any Yellowstone documentary that comes out on Nat Geo. There's a bunch on Disney Plus, Netflix, anywhere. It's all, now that I've seen so many of them, it's mostly the same footage, but I will watch them over and over again because it's so crazy. And they'll always show Grand Teton National Park in there too, because of the animals we have here. But if you want to see wolves or bison or elk or mountains or geysers or whatever it is, just to like get you back into like, there's beautiful places out there. We can go there once this is all done. Any Yellowstone documentary is so awesome. The way they get the footage of these animals acting is insane. Like there's otters sliding down snowbanks into rivers. It's really awesome. So go check any of those out. Those are great. And then lastly, it sounds corny, but do a FaceTime happy hour. I've done a couple of them, and I mean, we probably wouldn't be doing these if we didn't have to stay at home, but it's good just to check in with like your family members if you don't live by them, or friends if you don't live by them. You can hang out, talk about things, have a couple drinks, have some fun. And we are social animals as humans, so we need that stuff. You need to, especially if you're living alone, or you're just people that spend more time alone, you need that social interaction to basically stay sane. So do that. FaceTime someone that you wouldn't normally. Just go check in on them, say hey, see how they're going, drink some coffee, and talk about something. So that's been great. I think I'm gonna wrap this up. It's only 21 minutes in. There's not a lot else to say. Stay at home when you can if you're not having to work. Wash your hands. Stay healthy. Eat fruits and vegetables. The biggest thing you can do for this to stay healthy is keep your immune system strong by getting good sleep, doing some exercise, not eating junk food. Eat good vegetables, good fruits. Get some vitamin C in you. Take walks when you can if you don't live in a too populated area. Keep yourself healthy. The best way we can get out of this cycle is they're saying flatten the curve. What that just means, to my understanding, it just means you may get it because it's just very infectious. But if you don't get it now in this extreme amount of high cases, the medical facilities will be able to keep up with the demand for care once they can get the supplies they need and get beds open. So that's what we're trying to do, flatten the curve. So just stay healthy as long as you can, and this will be all over. And we'll look back on this and say, oh, remember that time we had to stay at home for 2 months and, read books and listen to podcasts? Man, that was kind of a bummer when we were in it, but we're out of it now, and we're going to be okay. Everyone have a great week. Thank you for listening, and wash your hands. Bye.